everybody. Welcome and happy Moon Day. You know what time it is. It is time to step into this week with your power, with claiming your power. And we're going to do that with Claudia Thompson, one of the world's most renowned lunar astrologers. And I also want to let you all know that Capagrata is coming back nice and strong, and I'll be back on Wednesday morning with Sherry Myers and to just watch for all of the great stuff right here on Spirituality Gone Wild. And if you haven't liked our page, please, please do. And without further ado, I'm going to bring up Claudia. Good morning, Claudia. Happy Moon Day.
Morning, yes. Happy Moon Day. And indeed, it is a moon day. And I'm going to tell you why.
Well, that's what I'm excited about. So here's what I'd love everybody to do that's joining right now is to share this out and then also please comment any questions you have for Claudia. I'm going to be in the background and I'm going to be watching to see what I can I'm going to be watching you guys and I'm also going to be sharing this out. I will be here. So anything that you comes up and you're like, I'd really like to know about this or whatever the case may be, just put it right into the chat and without further Debbie's going to be quiet and Claudia, take it away.
Well, hello, everyone. And I guess you know by now I call it Moon Day because it's named, the days of the week are named after the planets. And Monday is named after the moon. So we have the moon in Cancer at 7 degrees right now. And that is the sign in the zodiac that is ruled by the moon. So it's an emotional day. It's a creative day. It's a day to bring your inner child out to play. And the mood has shifted over the weekend big time because yesterday the sun moved into Sagittarius, and that always ushers in the celebratory time of the holiday. So that's a hallelujah, yay, sun in Sagittarius. The challenge is that Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, the biggest planet out there, and so it encourages you to think big, but also to be careful that you don't overextend yourself. It's easy to do as the social stuff and the urge to go out and buy and all of that ramps up. And you want to expand your consciousness during this time, the love in your heart, your celebration, but not your waistline. So it's good to set some intentions around that. And Mercury and Mars continue in Scorpio. So if you're wondering, well, why hasn't the intensity lifted completely? That's why. And we'll have Mercury moving into a Sagittarius this week. So that'll feel a little different. But I don't know about you. We talked about triggers last week and that it wasn't just Roy Rogers' horse. But I don't know if you've been experiencing, continuing to experience some of that. I know I did deep shadow work. I had a challenging square in my chart with a Scorpio energy, and it put me down into the basement of my soul so that I could do some deep dive shadow work and clearing. And that's going to continue because we are in a time of clearing and cleansing as we prepare for this next eclipse. And I'd love to know how you're doing in the aftermath of this Taurus lunar eclipse. As I mentioned last week, oftentimes lunar eclipses can bring areas that are very emotional up where you might feel a lack of some kind. But with Venus in Capricorn, the ruler of that eclipse, it reminded you that you can make a plan. You can look at the steps you want to take to expand your vision so that it's one that is happy, healthy, prosperous, and free as we move through the end of this year and into 2022. I'm going to talk a little bit about numbers this week because this week we have what's called a 55-10-1 vibration. So those of you who know a little bit about numbers might realize that 55 is a master number and one that we haven't really incorporated into our into our awareness much yet. But the good news is that it's the possibility of innovation on a massive scale. So you can look at that in your life. Breakdown precedes breakthrough. So know that this is part of what's waiting for you because this solar eclipse coming on the 3rd of December, very late after 11 p.m. in California, and on the 4th, depending on the time zone you're in the United States, early in your morning there, that eclipse is going to demand that we make a quantum leap. And there's the Jim Morrison Light My Fire song that says, the time to hesitate is through. And that's what this Sagittarius sun is telling you. The time to hesitate is through. So the eclipse asked you to really Look at your vision, expand it. You know, it said that those without a vision will perish. Well, that's a little dramatic, but getting your vision in order is really important because that's what will carry you through these evolutionary, revolutionary times that we are in right now. So the potential is a life-changing or system-changing reality for us. So that's actually very exciting because the things that you might have felt were on hold or just couldn't get moving are now supported because all the planets except for Uranus are moving direct. Neptune will join the forward parade on the 1st of December. And then the 19th of January is when Uranus will move direct, but everything else is direct. And so that's like a big green light telling you, yeah, what are my innovative ideas? How am I walking my vision for planet Earth? And really setting an intention for the new Earth that you envision, that you want to walk upon, that you want to celebrate and honor and caretake. And what you can do in your daily life, if you can focus on the present moment and where you are and your wonderful okayness and celebrate that, that will take you through the rocks and shoals of opinions and divisiveness that you might experience around you right now. As I mentioned, Cancer is very emotional energy. And so just being aware of that, just being aware that it can be a bit of a roller coaster at times, but that it also calls you to your inner child. And because it rules the divine mother and inner child and birthing, it's very, very creative. What could be more creative? So you might find that midday today, if irritation arises, just be aware. It's an emotional time. Remember your heart drop, breathing in that beautiful bronze light from the earth all the way up. And then seeing white light above your head, joining with the exhalation, moving through your body, making you golden as you drop into your heart. It only takes a couple of seconds, really, if you're facing someone or something, or an idea even that's making you emotional, because emotional security is the Cancer moon's bottom line. And what is that for you? What creates emotional security in your life? Friends, family. Family's a big one with Cancer energy. It draws us back to home and family, as does this time of year. Of course, we're going to have Thanksgiving on Thursday. So start being grateful now. And that's where, Debbie's wonderful work comes in, because she always reminds you to be grateful now. And remember that gratitude is alchemical. When you're grateful, you're affirming abundance, and it's magnetic. It attracts more abundance for you to be grateful for. So you might find as you go through the day, if there's some emotional stuff going on, just remember this evening, we're going to get a little bit of a break, and you'll be able to mend any fences or heal your insides, whatever's going on. I want you to remember that all of this cleansing and clearing and stuff floating around is about you and self-love, valuing yourself above all, because we're really being taught to love ourselves massively, to practice radical self-forgiveness so that we can love the world and we can continue to love this beautiful earth we live on and all of our connections, no matter what their opinions are. Don't let it lock anything out of your heart, because
I love
people,
this.
yeah, that's what it's
Yeah, I
about.
love that. That's beautiful. And we have Anna Prabha, who I haven't gotten a chance to connect with in a minute, and I love her. And she's got a great question, and I want to bring it up. And of course, good morning to our Prince Fleet Easton. So she
Hi,
says, I
Fleet.
have an Aries. Go ahead. You can read. I have an Aries moon in a fifth house, which is part of the Grand Cross in my chart, Libra, Sagittarius rising. Love to hear your take.
Okay, well, Aries moon, Aries is the just do it. It's considered to be the most masculine sign of the zodiac, not male, but masculine, which means that outward directed energy. So you're fairly unstoppable, And I lost what else was going on. A Libra, Sag, something or other. Could you put that up again for a moment? Okay, so we're part of the Grand Cross. All right, Libra, Sag rising. I gather you mean Libra Sun, Sag rising. So you probably have the sun in your 12th house right now. So it's lighting up your private dreams, areas where you may be at war with yourself a bit. So old habits and patterns of, over the top patterns, perhaps, that enable you to, you have this opportunity now to let those go. So the sun's lighting up where there's some old baggage around beliefs and judgments that you get to let go. I don't know the degree of your ascendant, but if you do, watch for when the sun crosses over. Sun moves about 1 degree a day. So that's not that hard to figure. If you have that grand cross going on, I know that you've been getting walloped a bit, because that grand cross has been very active over time with Eris and Chiron in Aries, and you're gonna feel that this week. So just remember, it's allowing you to feel it so you can heal it. And all that energy in Aries is talking about our ability to feel that we have the respect for ourselves and of the culture we live in to express our individuality. And we're actually seeing people in parts of the world taking to the streets about this individual rights. So that's one leg of it. Then you have Pluto in Capricorn, and that's the old systems breaking down, because we're going to come into, and we are in a time of death, transformation, and rebirth. And you're feeling that very keenly if you have that cross natally. And with the Libra, that gets kicked off, because that, today you may really be feeling it with the moon in Cancer and then your Libran energy. That activates that grand cross for you. So the thing about grand crosses is they demand that you take action and you turn some corners in your life. So watch what comes up. Keep that beautiful Sagittarius attitude. It's optimism, it's opportunity, it's a feel good sign in its highest expression. In its lowest, it's judgment, self-righteousness, and beliefs that are really no longer true for the vision that you hold. But that Aries is always like wind beneath your wings, that Aries moon. So just remember that. Just remember that you're a pioneer, you're an innovator, and you need to. That's why this energy today, the energy of innovation, that I was talking about with these numbers this week, is really beautiful for you. So remember that. Just
I love this.
just
I
be
want to
good
pop
for
it.
yourself.
I want to pop in and just mention to everybody that was beautiful. Anna, probably let me know how that resonated with you, sweetheart.
Yes.
God, it's good to even just see her name up here. She's she's such a beautiful being, and I love and miss her very much. Up in the description of this, she loved it. That's great. Thank you, sweetheart. Up in the description of this particular live stream, if you guys want to book a session with Claudia, that's all you got to do is just look in the description. It's right there. I can also post it into the chat here for everybody, and you can get a really cool reading. And believe me, they're worth it. They're awesome. You're getting kind of a sample here of how that works. We have another question here from Gari. I hope I said your name right. I'm a Sagittarius with an Aquarius moon rising. Ooh, I love Aquarius. It's just because we're kind of Aquarius. I'm a Libra moon, just to say. Could you tell me how it's affecting me? I've been feeling extremely lonely and separated, even though I've done a lot of healing work in the past 5 years, but now experience very difficult states of sadness, emotions, and feeling left alone.
All right.
I will
Bless.
definitely post it into the chat. You bet you right now.
You are
Okay, I'm
not.
gonna.
You feel alone. I understand that. But know that in your feelings of isolation, you are not alone. This is pervasive right now because of the disconnection that COVID has put us into. And so we are learning to navigate differently. Oftentimes, what the isolation does is it really brings up the areas of ourselves. It's like the inner child that's crying, that's calling for us to put our arms around ourselves and to look at how we can connect. How can you connect with people on Zoom or on FaceTime or a phone call? Oftentimes, also because we are all evolving to a higher frequency, vibration and frequency. So as that happens, people fall away. People who do not vibe at the same frequency that you do, experiences that are no longer relevant with that frequency fall away. And that can make us feel very isolated. As I mentioned last week, I was talking about triggers. And I went through this transit for 7 days that was excruciating. And so I understand the feeling of isolation. I'm very blessed to have this science at my fingertips, because when I looked it up, I saw and I knew that it would pass. But I also knew that I was going to be thrown into the basement of my soul to look at what was still there that might block my contribution to the world or my ability to move forward. And for you, it sounds like it's been a really long siege. I don't know your chart, but I have the little points that you'd said. Your Sagittarius thinks big. I don't know what year you're in. You may be in a time when you feel very limited because Saturn is in Aquarius. And Aquarius is one of the freedom junkies of the zodiac. Sagittarius is another one. I feel like those are the two freedom junkies of the zodiac, Aquarius particularly. And it's about the freedom of humanity to be the individual creators that they are. So get a vision in hand. If you have a challenge with that, book a session. Vision mapping is something I love to do with people to help you get on track to know your soul's purpose. That can help lift you up because it gives you a go-to place every day so that you can walk in your light and ramp up your light. I don't know what else was there. Debbie, can you flash that back up for me? So I can thank you. All right. Aquarius moon rising. So I'm curious to know if that moon is in the 12th house or in the first house. And yeah, sadness, emotions. This cleansing and clearing time is not easy, sweetie. It's just not. And because the patterns, especially with this Taurus eclipse, it shows us where we are intractable, where we, where we felt we had solid ground underneath us with a lot of our beliefs and the ways that we've lived. And that's all out the window now. We're being told to reformulate our world. And on the one hand, it's very exciting. And on the other hand, it's scary. So really, really self-nurture. Sagittarius is a fire sign. So that has to do with spirit. Aquarius is an air sign. So that has to do with the mental part of your life. So get out in nature. I hope you're doing that. I hope you're getting out in nature and doing whatever you can to ground yourself sensually. Touch, hug yourself. It said that we need 9 hugs a day to survive and 17 to thrive. So hug yourself and high five yourself in the mirror in the morning. Watch uplifting things. Do not allow the pervasive programming of the media to enter your atmosphere, because with Aquarius energy, this is your time. And then the Sagittarius, this is your time, baby. So, and also if you have that Sagittarius sun, you're coming to the end of your year. Oftentimes, as we approach our birthday, I remember when I learned about this years ago, because I called my teacher and I said, I ought to be feeling just all lit up. My birthday's coming, but I don't have much energy. I'm not feeling that up. And it's like the balsamic phase of the moon. It's like you get this injection of solar energy at the time of your birthday, and then you have it for a year, and then it winds down in preparation for the next year. So what are you leaving behind? Maybe isolation is one of the things you want to leave behind. How can you interrelate with the world that we live in now? Our normal ways of connecting are not available to many. So also you probably want to know your solar return, which is when the sun returns to where it was when you were born. And it sets up a natal chart for the year. So that could be a very hopeful thing for you to know as well. And I just send you lots and lots of love. I really, really, I have great compassion because I know what that isolation feels like as well. I hope that helped. Okay.
And I am back. Okay, so again, I just want to mention if anybody wants to book a private session with Claudia, she is taking clients right now. So you might want to get it, you might want to get in on that before you can't, because that's what happens. She gets booked up and it takes a while to get in. So please go ahead and book. The link is up in the description. I'm going to go ahead and post it in the chat again right this second. Here you go. John Stewart. Yes, Claudia and I are both Aquarians. I was born January 21st, and Claudia, when are you? Are February
7th.
7th. And yeah, this is my moon sign is a Libra. So, John, what's your moon sign? What I recommend to anybody who's watching right now, if you don't know what your moon sign is, I have no affiliation, but go over to Cafe Astrology because they have it there for free and you can get your moon sign. Um, Claudia, take it away because I know that you still have some reports about this week. People, please keep typing. Oh, February 13th. Woo-hoo! A Valentine Eve baby. Oh, how sweet. He's so
Oh,
full of love. And I just want to say I'm so grateful, John, across the pond, that you are better and that you made it through that a really tough time with being ill
mm.
with dreaded COVID. So I'm just super, super grateful. And Mary, I see that you were on a Scorpio sun and a Cancer moon. That's awesome. Woo! Love it, love it. And so Claudia is going to finish also telling us a little bit about what's going on this week and what you have to look forward to. And we'll get back to all your questions in just a few.
So tomorrow at 4:50 a.m., you're going to wake up to the disseminating phase. Yes, this full moon, every phase of the moon is 3.5 days long. So the eclipse popped at the time of the full moon, and we had a whole weekend of full moon energy. That might explain a few things, right? And eclipses are not just momentary or even day long events, they unroll their goodies and their energy for 6 months. This was a particularly long one. It will not, it was the longest lunar eclipse in 481 years. So we're really going to feel that 6 month unrolling of this energy. And we've got other things that are happening in the sky that are going to underscore this energy around values and resources and self-worth. So just remember, self-worth and your bank account are not synonymous. You are worthy because you are a spark from that great spirit. So tomorrow, when the moon enters the disseminating phase, that's when you glean the insights from the recent full moon. You take a bite out of the fruit, so to speak. Is it bitter? Is it sweet? You were asked to look back not only to the past 2 weeks when the moon was new and you set some intentions, but to May 11th, when the moon was new in Taurus, the sign that the full moon eclipse was in. And look at your progress over the last 6 months. Are you where you thought you'd be? I don't think any of us are, but honor your progress. Honor the progress that you've made regarding your spiritual evolution and regarding whatever plans that you did have and the changes that you might see need to be made. Tomorrow there's going to be some direct emotional, you're asked to direct your emotional energy towards something that you're passionate about. So that's a good clue for navigating these energies as we glean these insights. And old patterns of self-righteousness could emerge. That's one of the downsides of the Sagittarius energy. But forgiveness. Forgiveness is the healing salve for anything that comes up. Now, Sagittarius is very fiery and it can speak before thinking sometimes. So it's good to take a breath, drop into your heart, and give yourself that breath before you speak sometimes, especially if you're feeling irritable, and then ask yourself, what's the source of that irritation? Sometimes it's something, again, that you haven't forgiven yourself for, something that has guilt, shame, blame linked to it. So forgiveness is the healing balm. Self-love, radical forgiveness, radical self-love. And then on Wednesday, the moon moves into Leo at 7:59 a.m. So we're going to have the sun in Sagittarius, the moon in Leo, and that's a lot of fire. But it's also a lot of it can be a lot of feel good passion and go juice because Leo rules the heart, the upper back and spine. So dropping into your heart is really, really imperative. We are in a 22-4 day on Wednesday. And I just want to mention a little bit about that. 22 is very relevant, of course, as we move into 2022. It's the master builder and the master destroyer. So both energies are afoot in your life as we see old systems breaking down so that we can reclaim the energy and rebirth this new world of enough for everyone in peace and equality that we want to see and walk in. where people walk with open hearts, respecting everyone's opinion and right to choose. Um, it's going to streamline, it's going to ask us. We get a preview on Wednesday, so to speak, just as the Taurus eclipse was a preview of what's coming in 2022. And we're asked to streamline our material needs, understand and feel our true worth, and not measure it in dollars, but by the quality of what we contribute to life. So that's a really great question to ask. What do I contribute to life? What am I here to contribute to life? What spins my wheels? What warms my heart? And so, again, having a vision. And it doesn't have to be, I'm not talking about a vision that has total nuts and bolts to it. That will appear. You'll be guided by spirit. But to feel every day the world that you want to live in, the world that you really do live in. As you know, like they say, don't borrow trouble. You know, live. I feel that one of the greatest gifts you give to the world, if not the greatest gift, is your vibration. So, how much light can you ingest? How much can you take on? We're still moving through the photon belt. A lot of photonic light energy coming to us, and that's ramping up all the time. So, you know, this is this century actually, because it's the 21st century. 2 and 1 equals 3, and that's all about communication. So, communication in some ways has been weaponized, and so you have shows like this, like Debbie's network, that absolutely put communication at its highest level. And how you talk to yourself plays into that. That's the ultimate communication, isn't it? Do we speak to ourselves lovingly? Do we speak to ourselves in a way that honors us, that reinforces that we are valued by ourselves? I'm going to give you something that you can do. I do this in the shower every morning. This area of your body, let me see, I want to be sure you can see it. It's right between your throat and your thyroid and your heart. And if you tap 12 times, and then you say out loud, I deeply love and appreciate myself. I deeply love and appreciate myself. I deeply love and appreciate myself. So I want you to do that and say it with me. Start tapping. This is your hypothalamus. I deeply love and appreciate myself. And say it until you mean it. You know, feel your feet on the floor and say it until you mean it. That actually, I'll tell you how I learned that. I'm trying to think of Tracy's last name. Dazzy and Harriet's granddaughter had gone.
Really? Oh,
Yeah, I was working with her on something called Father Dowling in Colorado, and when she came to us, she played a nun in the show. Just Tracy Nelson, wonderful, wonderful gal, but she had gone through Hodgkin's lymphoma, and so she
mm-hmm.
was still recovering. She began the show wearing wigs, but by the time we finished, by the time I was off the series 2 years later, she had her full head of hair. And she worked with a lot of healers. And one of the big things that they taught her was this, to activate the hypothalamus. So if you're feeling that isolation or feeling a need for healing, or just to reinforce your value and honoring every day, I deeply love and appreciate myself. Yes, say it till you mean it.
And
Yes,
say it
John.
to you, mean it. I love this, John. And yes, John, I will connect you too, behind the scenes there. Good morning, Luke. My Taya buddy.
Hi,
I love
Luke.
you. Fred, well, Frederick, hi. Wow, let's see. Uh-huh. Let's see. I'm curious about this. It says, really, where is that light energy coming from? What's it made of, and how fast does it arrive? And how fast will it be arriving 2 weeks from now? Honestly, seriously, I got to tell you, Frederick, I love curiosity. It's one of my favorite tools in this world, and I appreciate you asking that. And the reason why is because we're off in our own little world, right, Claudia? Like we live in this world of understanding energy, understanding that source energy, understanding all of it because we truly tap into it. And I'm going to let Claudia tell you all about that. But my input to you is this. Light, honey, is that thing that comes from your heart. Boom, boom, ba-da, boom. The thing just like as you were just tapping. The light, you are that light, darling. Where did it come from? You, you. That's what I got to say about that. Claudia, take it away.
Well, she's right, as within, so without, right? It's not the other way around. And I want to remind you that astrology impels, it does not compel. It is not like, oh, the stars are out there and they're doing this to me and I have no free will. No, we are a planet of free will. So, what I would suggest is that you look up the photon belt, because this is a long thing. We are literally shifting our place in the universe. Our whole system is moving. Everything's in motion all the time. It's why we need to be in some motion, movement, exercise wise every day, because we are the universe, right? And then we have the solar flares. So check those out, because if you Google solar flares, you can find the times of greatest intensity. And we've had some times of really serious intensity. We are definitely being bombarded with light, so that we will remember that that's what we are. Light equals energy. So it's a great question. I am not a scientist that has those, but I'm going to look it up now that you've asked the question for sure. As for the next 2 weeks, we're going to have this eclipse coming up in a Sagittarius. And I'm going to be talking about this more on Monday, because I don't want to overload you and I want you to have it at your fingertips when the eclipse comes. But we're going to be, aligned with what's called the Great Attractor. And if you want to know more about that, Philip Sedgwick, who is an incredible researching astrologer, has a lot of wonderful stuff on that. But the Greater Attractor is like this great black hole, and it moves backwards. So there's all sorts of energy happening with this upcoming eclipse, and of course, it is the vanishing of the light and then the reappearance of the light. So you're feeling that as well. So there are all of these things having to do with light. And they have found that light and sound are synonymous. So wonderful music, chanting, affirming out loud what you want, who you are, what you want for this new earth, watching your speech. Very important. Words are vibration. So light and sound. Check out the photon belt. Like I said, this is a long thing. It's ramping up. It's continuing to bring energy to us. And with our alignment with the Great Attractor, that's going to bring some stuff ongoing too. And that also affects the US chart, which I'm going to be talking about more on Monday, because it's like, what does all of the things that are going on mean for our country? It's one of the reasons that you're all feeling the energies as keenly as you are, because as the US goes, so goes the world. So the world is watching us, and the universe is definitely giving us some times of great shift. There's no going back. We can only go forward into owning our own power. I hope that helped somewhat. I know it, of course, sort of sets you off on a research assignment, but I just want you to know that it's not that what you're asking about is a longer period that continues to ramp up and dump light, bring light to us. So it's with this eclipse coming up, we're definitely feeling it, because you feel eclipses up to at least a month before they occur. So I'm going to go on to, I'm going to mention that the 2, which I was talking about, the 22, that's attention to detail. So as it said, sometimes God is in the details. So look at the priorities in your life and what details you need to pay attention to that may have gone by the wayside as this year winds up. On Thursday could be a restless day. So you may feel like you want to break from responsibilities, and old patterns of judgment may arise. So remember to drop into your heart, to affirm that you are light, and to affirm that that's what you want to radiate. Be that radiant being that you're created to be. And also, I want to mention that on Wednesday, back up for one day, Mercury moves into Sagittarius. And that's a yay. That's a lot of expansive thought. But whereas the Mercury in Scorpio encouraged that deep dive, and sometimes had you diving into those thoughts that were less than self-uplifting, now it's going to move into Sagittarius. The challenge is that knee-jerk reaction or that talking without listening. You know, Sagittarius rules education. And oftentimes the best way we get educated is by listening to where another's at, what they're saying. But it also asks you to look at what you want to educate yourself about. Sagittarius is the professor of the zodiac. And that's where we, you know, there's a lot of wisdom there, but we have to watch out for the self-righteous know-it-all tone too. We all have that tendency sometimes. But what's really happening with this eclipse approaching in Sagittarius and now Mercury joining it, it's really giving us opportunities to expand our mind, to really welcome spirit into every aspect of our lives and thoughts. You will, and also it's going to bring you more confidence. So those areas where you might have felt on shaky ground with Mercury and Scorpio and Mars, they're energizing that. Now you will have more self-confidence, and you'll start to feel that on Wednesday with the moon in Leo, and then on Thursday as well. So, you know, you might feel a little lazy at the first part of the day on Thursday, but then you'll bump into a different gear with a transit that's going to grant you some energy to get some things done. And that is Thanksgiving. So it makes sense that you might be sitting around feeling a little, you know, a little lazy in the morning. And then, of course, then you have, sometimes you have those big dinners and then you're really kicked back. But just know that if you have something that you want to do with your family or for yourself, you'll have more energy as the afternoon and evening progress. On Friday, avoid over-the-top responses. Because I mentioned Mercury's moved into Sagittarius, and there's some things going on Friday that might make you be a little over the top. So, you know, focus on solutions. That's what you want to do. You want to focus on solutions. And when the moon moves into Virgo at 6:11 p.m., you're going to get an opportunity to do that because Virgo is very solution oriented, right? So it also is detail oriented and service oriented. So that on Friday, the moon is void of course all day. You know, we've had past times when I've talked to you, we've had some long void of course periods. But this week, we have one long one, but you're asleep during it. So, okay,
So,
you wake up and the moon shifted.
and again, tell everybody what a void of course moon is.
Yes, I was just going to do that. So
Again,
the moon dances with all the planets. That's why I always say you don't have to know all of astrology. You just have to know how to reach for the moon and watch the phases. So we're still in a disseminating phase, right? We were in full, now disseminating, and we'll move into the last quarter phase on Saturday. But meanwhile, the moon's dancing with all the planets, in other words, making aspects to all the planets. And then there are certain times when the moon no longer is making any aspects as it moves through the completion of its journey through a sign. And that's called void of course. Some astrologers interpret it as nothing happens. But of course, we're still breathing, we're still moving, but it's an opportunity to take stock, to kick back a bit. I always see it as a good time to vacuum or do laundry or clear our desks or look at if we're on track with what we decided to do during the week and to get on track with your weekend. And of course, it's a holiday weekend. So the moon being void, of course, is a nice gift on Friday because it's telling you, you know, well, I don't feel like jumping into action, but I can focus on what's happened. I can reap the benefits of my day of gratitude. And I can look at taking a walk, chilling, you know, doing those sort of things. So that's a little bit about the void of course moon. And I'd love for you all, as you take notes on these things and experience a void of course moon, I'd love to know your experience with it. You know, how, if you're finding that that is truly an effect that you experience in your life. And then Saturday, we move into the last quarter phase. And that means that the moon and the sun exactly square each other. And when you look up at the sky, you'll see that moon pie effect, half light, half dark. And as we move into the last quarter phase, moon rises at noon and moon set is at midnight. In the disseminating phase, moonrise is at 9 a.m. and moon set is at 9 p.m. And the moon moves about 50 minutes later in its rising from those times each day during the phase. But in the last quarter phase, I'd mentioned that clearing and cleansing are really an overarching theme for this time. And so the last quarter phase is really asking you to take stock and clear your consciousness as the new moon eclipse builds. And reflect, release, because you're preparing for a major new start and a quantum leap at the time of in the wake of the eclipse. So, clear old attachments and projects. And you're being granted an opportunity to clear old beliefs. And that's a big one. And oftentimes you can feel the resistance, and it can feel like unhappiness or sadness or just resistance. It takes a lot of energy to keep our emotions at bay. So now those emotions are trying to break through so that you can feel it to heal it and to repurpose that energy for a new belief system, for whatever's required. Wherever those beliefs, and sometimes they're from past lives, sometimes they're from times in the really distant past, in our childhood, and we have opportunities to clear those. And then Sunday, the moon moves into Virgo at 6:11 p.m. So we're going to start the week with the sign of the workaholic. It'll get us back on track. I'm laughing. That's the downside of a Virgo, is the workaholism. But the attention to detail, the desire to be of service, the taking the passions that came up in Leo and that have come up during the week and moving them into a context of work as love made visible will be up for you next week as we move toward that eclipse. And it'll also, as Sunday moves on, you'll be asked to look realistically at what's been transpiring. And I'm just taking a look at my notes here. Oh yeah, that was just a reminder that all planets are moving direct. So you've got this clear field of energy, and yeah, you're going to be getting
Sorry.
I was just going to say, you're really getting a preview of the energies that are being left behind, that are your 2021 energies with this eclipse, and what you're going to move toward in 2022, because there are some really amazing energies. We are headed for what's called a Pluto return in the United States chart. So 1776 was the last time that occurred, and that'll happen February 20th. It'll be exact.
Something else happened in 1776.
Well, the birth of the country.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
And we've had the ongoing Uranus-Saturn square. So that's another thing that has been asking us. Saturn is the systems, the structure, the current form, and Uranus is coming through like a bolt of lightning and just taking those systems down. This is not necessarily, it's not a comfortable time for all of us, because we've learned how to navigate. We have our way of navigating, right? And so all of a sudden our ship is going to be in a new ocean. It's already in a new ocean. So this eclipse is also going to be united with the United States chart's ascendant. So we are literally forging a new identity for this country. So how are you a proactive part of that? You have that opportunity to be a proactive part of it. When I go out into the world, we all experience a lot of energies. And those of you who have Aquarius energy, I just want to remind you, sometimes you're isolated for protection, because Aquarius is the sign that feels the collective. And so sometimes you might go out feeling really great, and you get out there and then you go and you do your errands and you come home and you're like, and that can tend to be because you felt the collective. You felt their sadnesses, their fear, their joys, they're all of these things. So you need that time to kick back. November is a month of regeneration. And so it may, even though it's Thanksgiving, it may feel particularly isolating, because we're being asked to regenerate before this eclipse pops us into a turbocharged brand new beginning. This is what
Mhm.
eclipse, solar eclipse promises. And it's, like I said, quantum leap. So we have to look at how can we work with our isolation.
Right.
And, book a session with me if you want literal tools and tips on how to do this and your forecast for 2022.
Well, I was
You
just going to
know,
say the
yeah.
link is right above. It's above in the description of this video of this live stream, as well as it's in here in this chat. Uh, this is beautiful, and I'm loving this. Aquarius is unconditional love. I love that. You too. Look at I like you guys. I love your chat, your comments in this chat. Luke, rock on.
Oh,
Feel it
thank
to
you.
heal it. I love it. Well, it was coming to me this week was I was sitting there and I'm just like, see it, believe it, be it. See it, believe it, be it. See it, believe it, be it. See
Love
it,
that.
believe it, be it. See it, believe it, be it. Y'all can get into that groove, right? See it, believe it, be it. See it, believe it, be it. And the reason that I think because it's the same thing. We're all getting the downloads, we're all getting the messages. And what Claudia's been doing here is uh, giving you answers to how to navigate through the stuff the downloads we're getting. How should we show up in this world? What does it mean to be proactive? Proactive means in your own life. That doesn't mean go out and do anything silly. It means be proactive with you. You said November is a space. This is where we're going to be solidating a little bit because we need to regenerate. So it's going to be feeling a little bit of solidarity, I believe you said. And I love that because if you all think about it, where does the healing begin? It begins with you. And if each one of us are just pretending we're the 100th monkey, then what the heck? You don't know that you're not anyway. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go look it up or Google it, and then you'll understand it. I'm going to give it back to Claudia. First, I want to also one more thing, Claudia, before I forget. Beautiful. Love it. Love it. See it, believe it, be it. See it, believe it, be it. You've got it, love. You've got it. Hello. Good morning to Elisha.
Hi, Elisha.
Woo. Okay. So here's what I'd like to do is ask everybody right now to send some healing energy to our friend John Stewart in the UK. He has got an ouchie. So if everybody can just do that right now, let's just all help him out. And I appreciate that. And thank you. And Claudia, I'm going to give it right back to you.
Well, as you can tell, this is a big time. That's what we're looking at. It's a big time. And the biggest thing going on is to realize this awareness of oneness. There's only one of us here. What does that mean? Well, I look at it like a diamond, like the earth and all of humanity is in this diamond, and it has 7.5 billion facets. That's the brilliance that the whole universe is waiting for us to shine forth through. You have your facet, polishing your facet. That's what you're doing. And know that guidance is there for you. So tune in to your guidance every day. You know, I went through, well, you might not know, but 11 years ago, I was on Kauai the day after Fukushima. And that was when Uranus moved from Aries, fire, into Pisces, water, that night. And so we had a volcano, we had fire underwater, creating a tsunami and cracking that nuclear reactor in Fukushima. I had 3 wonderful weeks in Kauai, and I drank the water, and I ended up with nuclear radiation poisoning. Now, if you were to see pictures of me as I went through that crisis, you wouldn't believe it. I shed my skin 3 times completely. My body was swollen, my lymph was inflamed, everything was inflamed. And so I really got to live that Scorpio energy. And that's what we're all doing now. We're being asked to shed our old skin and know that over the next 2 years, with all the stuff that's going to be, the pushy planetary stuff going on, that we are going to be like the phoenix rising from the ashes. to soar like the eagle. After all, that is the emblem of the United States, is the eagle. And that indicates the bird that has the highest vision. So hone your vision. The things that make you sad, the things that that create these intense feelings, guide you to the vision of the earth that you want to live on and that you can live on now. And I was thinking, when Debbie was talking about believing it, of Oprah's phrase, you'll receive what you believe. So this opportunity to turn your belief system upside down and shake it out and see what's aligned with the truth. And that's what the last quarter phase coming on Saturday is about. It says, am I aligned in consciousness with the vision that I set forth? Does my vision need tweaking? What are my values? Am I living a life that is aligned with my true values? Or am I in scarcity or scared or worry? We all go there sometimes, but remember about the story about the wolf you feed. And that's, you want that fuzzy wolf, the wolf that supports you and your group, your tribe. So it's a huge time on planet Earth. It's a huge time for the country. And the heavens are pushing us along. If you pay attention to the moon, you will always know where you are. You'll know what time it is. And proactive means that every sign, we live in a dimension, in the physical dimension of duality. So each sign has a high and a low side. And we do this all the time. We all go there. So proactive says, I choose the high side. I learn about the high side. Follow the phases. Look at the characteristic of energy of the sign. That's all you need to know. You don't need to know all the stuff that's going on in the sky, because there are so many opinions about that. And what you want are just, you want to feel your feelings so that you can use them to create the world you want. And just remember, massive self-love. Whenever you have a challenge, when you feel isolated, when you feel sad, the point of my story about my own healing crisis is, how did I get through it? Because doctors had never seen anything like what I was going through. I really went the alternative route, which is one of the reasons it took as long as it did. But I knew that my body was a self-healing organism. And that's when the heart drop became a living feature in my life, because my guides kept saying, do the heart drop, become present. Do not go into future. Do not go into past. Be here now. And know the reality of your true whole self. And so I put that out there to our beloved friend who is going through healing, and know that our heart energy is with you. There's only one of us here.
I love this. Well, you guys, we're coming up on the hour, and I want to take this opportunity to thank you, Claudia, and to just for the messages that came across today. I hope that all of you have gotten a nugget of something that you've needed right now in this moment to just help you throughout your day today. And to the oncoming days, we have our United States celebration of Thanksgiving coming on Thursday. So, and as Claudia was saying, this is the time to rejuvenate. So use that time to really just rest. Be soft with yourself. Use radical compassion, radical empathy, radical appreciation for yourself. If you start with you, you'll be able to give it out to other people, because you'll be filling your own cup, and what's overflowing, you'll be giving out. If you do it the other way, well, we all know that doesn't work. So there. But Claudia, thank you. Once again, I have put the link in the chat and where you can book a session with Claudia. There's a discovery session that you can book, or you can book an actual full lunar report. They're both available to you. And yeah, you are very welcome.
Quintana. That's the thing with
Mm.
Thanksgiving. Know that gratitude is flowing from me to all of you. I love you all so much. And I want you to know the effect, the joy that knowing the real right timing, the real rhythms can bring into your life. It
Yeah.
helps you ground in through reality so that all the vicissitudes of the world don't throw you off the course of self-love and self-value. The lunar discovery session, I go into what your moon means for you in relation to the sun, your health, relationships, etc. And then the full session will guide you from now into 2022. And then a vision mapping session is a separate session that we can talk about. But there's so much love that comes. I'm so grateful for all of you all the time. So that's always pouring out to you every day.
Mm, I love this. And everybody, I look at this. We love you guys so much. Look at all that. And look at that. Love it. I love that. I love this. Joy, love, healing, protection, caring, sustenance, birthing. Ooh, that's
Love
like
it.
your birthing. It's like, you
Yeah.
guys, the birthing process is kind of tough, right?
It's exactly what I
Birthing,
was just thinking of,
sometimes
Debbie.
birthing process is rough. Let me tell you. And I had a 10-pound, 2-ounce baby, the first one. That's a big baby.
So we're in the canal. Okay. So think of labor taking a couple more years. I know that for mothers, that's like an excruciating idea. But the thing to remember is look what you get at the end of that. A
Can we just get the
beautiful new
easy out of
life.
me? Yes, we'll just get, but well, I want y'all to, I was going to say, can't we just get episiotomy and just make it simple? Um,
There probably
not
will go
not
along
a
with
PC.
it.
What a episiotomy? God, you guys, I said the wrong word. Epidural.
Yeah, because I was going to say
Y'all
that,
just
you want everybody to have okay.
does everybody want to laugh with Debbie? Please. I mean, for real now. I just no, we're not going to cut anything. We're going to numb the. Never mind. I'm joking. I'm not
Well,
serious.
that's
Let it
the danger
go.
with Neptune moving direct is that everybody will reach for an epidural, but you don't get to numb yourself out. You want to be there for this.
Natural. Yeah, you want to be there for this. Natural, all the way. So that's what the whole reason of Spirituality Gone Wild is about, so that we can bring you the tools that you can use in your life and actually just like live the reality you want. I'm living, walking, breathing proof. Claudia's living, walking, breathing proof. And I say, let's rock and roll. Please go find me on TikTok, Debbie Gratitude, Debbie G, because I spark that G vibe and I raise the gratitude vibration. And that's what I am here to do. I am here to do that. And that's what I love to do. And find me on Instagram as well. And please go and like Claudia's Facebook page. And I'm going to put it up right now. And I said it before I put it up. What is your Facebook
It's
page?
moon powered astrology, and you can message me there. Like me, share me, all of those good things. But yeah, moon
I
powered
found it.
astrology.
There we go. I was in the, it's hilarious, Claudia, because see, I also run the back end as I'm doing this, and a lot of
I
people have
know.
somebody else doing that while they're doing this, and so y'all
Isn't she
just have
amazing?
fun with me.
Amazing.
Thank you. Well, I love that, but yeah, it's just hilarious because y'all know I just mess up, and I'll let you know I
So next
okay.
week we're gonna be getting you ready on Monday so you can really tap into the incredible power surge of that solar
Yeah.
eclipse. So it's a total solar eclipse. So I'm going to be tuning you into that and how you can use the energy and step through that portal into your new beginning. So be sure to
Oh,
join me.
that's gonna be super cool, yo. So you guys, you know how to book, just right up in the thing. So I see 1111 in front of my face. It's 1122, a very powerful day. Two master numbers. You guys, I mean, come on now. Rock this day. Go into it with intention. Go into it with the intention of appreciation, the intention of gratitude, and watch what happens. And I will see you on I'll see everybody back on Wednesday with Sherry Myers talking about the Angel Lady movie and the Glitch movie, as well as a lot of other stuff. So, talk to y'all later.
Be the master builder. I love you to the moon and way beyond.
Way beyond.